and even people who are here.
In progress.
Oh, guess what? We're starting now. Okay. Well, this is my beloved wife, Reverend Megan Smith Brooks. I'm Reverend Michael Brooks, and we are here to provide you with your Sunday message, and hopefully you'll get something from it. And in the beginning, we want you to sing with us. So did you get your vocals started? Just big, deep breath. It's a call and response. So all we want you to do is follow Megan. I'll lead her in, and then she can sing it out, and you sing with her,
If
okay?
you want to stand, you might want to kind of get the energy.
Yeah.
moving.
If you
If you're
don't, you may
comfortable.
stay seated. Okay, ready?
All right.
There is a path
There is a
to
path
the divine.
to the divine.
This path is yours.
This path is yours.
This path is mine.
This path is mine.
And I know where
And I know where
this journey starts.
this journey starts.
Right here in my heart. Inside of you.
Inside of you.
Inside of me.
Inside of me.
Eternal truth.
Eternal truth.
Let's set it free.
Let's set it free.
And I know where
And I know where
this journey starts.
this journey starts.
Right
Here
here.
in my heart.
I am the earth.
I am the earth.
I am the sky.
I am the sky.
I am the rain.
I am the rain.
I am the fire.
I am the fire.
And I know where
And I know where
this journey starts.
this journey starts.
Right
here in my heart.
There is a path
There is a path
to the divine.
to the
The
divine.
path is yours.
The path is
The
yours.
path is
The
mine.
path is mine.
And I know where
And I know where
this journey
this
starts.
journey starts.
Right here in my heart. Sing it again. Right here in my heart. One more time.
Right here in my heart.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Gracias. Wow, beautiful. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, some audience. Welcome to Unity Namaste of Ajijic. I'm Reverend Johannes Jimenez Harto. Somebody asked me, why your last name is Harto? You are Latina. I said, well, before getting married, I was, and I am Jimenez. So yes, I am Latina, but it's my husband's last name. Anyway, we are so blessed to have you, Megan and Michael. Jack and I spent almost a whole day with them. That was Tuesday, something like that, or Monday. Well, no, Thursday, I think, or Friday. Anyway, we had a lovely time. It's so good to get to know you in a personal level, to share with you. All of us at Namaste, we are so blessed to have you. So thank you so much for saying yes to the calling, because we are always being called and we have to respond yes or no, because that's our free will. So let us close your eyes. If you feel comfortable, let us start with a prayer from our hearts. Let us connect with that presence of love that we call God. Beloved God, purify the thoughts of our hearts and pour out your spirit to us so that we can, with each breath of our being, remember you and love you with perfect love. May your loving song, which is written in our hearts and is the highest song that our voice can birth, honor with its sweet melody each soul that inhabits this planet. Thank you, Father, Mother God, for your care and guidance. Thank you for your infinite love and compassion. Thank you because you have taught us that we are aware, in your infinite, precious, and eternal sea of love. Thank you, God. Amen, amen, and amen. Amen. So I'm going to call now my beloved husband to bless us in reading the daily word for today. You don't need it? Okay.
I need it over there. So I prepared a slide for this, but unfortunately, you're gonna have to see me. So here it is. Today's daily word, May 15th, 2022, is freedom. Taking responsibility for my life leads me to freedom. Each life has its share of ups and downs. Like most people, I have felt blessed by my happy experiences and laid low by more difficult ones. I have used the spiritual tools of forgiveness and gratitude to learn from and move beyond my more painful experiences. This kind of spiritual housekeeping is my key to lasting freedom. By releasing blame and regret over and over again, if necessary, I am ensuring that I will be bound by the past and limited by an I am ensuring that I will not be bound by the past and limited by an outworn image of myself. Let me read that again. By releasing blame and regret over and over again as necessary, I am ensuring that I will not be bound by the past and limited by an outworn image of myself. Life is dynamic, and so am I. My growth is dependent upon my forward movement, and I commit to embracing the freedom that comes from leaving the past behind. With gratitude, I bless the person I was. With faith, I reach unencumbered for the person I am becoming. Today's daily word was inspired by Galatians chapter 5, verse 13. For you were called to freedom, brothers and sisters. Let's all say together, taking responsibility for my life leads me to freedom. Taking responsibility for my life leads me to freedom. Now you have to wait a moment because I want to put the screen up. Because I spent some time on it.
Okay, okay. Sure. We wait a moment. And you let me know when can I introduce Reverend Michael Brooks. Ah, that's beautiful. Thank you, my love. Okay. So, yay! Yes. Last week, we had the blessing of having Reverend Megan to deliver the message. Today, we are going to have the blessing of Reverend Michael Brooks to deliver the message. But first, let me say a little bit about him. Reverend Michael Brooks is an ordained unity minister dedicated to bringing practical truth teachings and universal spiritual philosophies from a variety of resources in a more non-traditional format to the spiritual seekers of the world. Reverend Michael, with his wife, Megan, has served several different Unity Spiritual Centers since 2004, and as co-ministers most recently in Cincinnati, Ohio. Reverend Michael is the co-founder of Unity Awakening Ways, an alternative unity ministry offering online spiritual education and ministry services. His goal is to support anyone from anywhere who is ready to grow spiritually on this journey we call life, and discover the many ways to activate and demonstrate their own divine presence. Reverend Michael has been regular in-person and online speakers at Unity Spiritual Centers around the USA, the United States. So let us receive with a warm applause to Reverend. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Oh, you guys already know me. I've been hanging around for a couple weeks, right? Yeah. So we're going to open up with a Daniel Namaste song that is very meditative, so we can do that. Yeah, we'll lead that right into meditation. And again, we invite you to sing along. We believe that anytime you sing, you're praying twice. So that's kind of fun, you know, once when you think it, once when you say it. Boy, if you put it into your vocals and make it loud and clear, we realize it's almost like kirtan, isn't it?
So Daniel's going to lead us, and if everything works right, the PowerPoint lyrics will be on screen for you. So just follow us. If anything happens, just keep following us.
And in this particular one, if you feel like closing your eyes, feel free to do that. Get into that groove, the rhythm of it. Allow yourself to just feel it as much as you can. Real simple.
Sacred love.
Mhm. In a moment.
So we just start some breathing. Breathing into your heart space. Holding the vibrations of everything to come together. in One divine flow, universal divine experience, right?
And if we can't bring it up, we're going to do this a cappella. I mean, a cappella. Here we go.
You are
Sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. We're gonna do that again. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are blessed peace, blessed peace is all that you are. You are blessed peace, blessed peace is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are deepest joy, deepest joy is all that you are. You are deepest joy, God, deepest joy is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live
in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are.
That sacred space, that holy place, where as we let go of the finite and open our arms and our minds to the infinite. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Only the finite has wrought and suffered. The infinite lies stretched in smiling repose." So in this moment, let us stretch in smiling repose, reaching out, stretching out our hearts and our minds, our very beings to encompass each other. The whole Namaste village, the city of Ajijic, the country of Mexico, all of North America, and our entire world. For those in conflict, for those in strife, for those who do not know, for those who will not know. We raise our vibrations and we reach back for those to raise their vibration with us. Father, Mother, God, creator and birther of all that is, we stand or sit in awe of all that we have. We are truly blessed. We are sacred love. We are blessed peace. We are deepest joy. And as we allow ourselves to be that, we know it waits for us. Our enlightenment is already here. So as we gently move aside the Maya, the mist, the smoke, the shroud that looks like disconnect, we know that we cannot be separate from that which we are. So let us sit in peace, in the silence for a moment or so, to be there, to accept this gift. And we bless this through the power of the divine that dwells in each of us. We bless it again and again and again in the silence. So allow your next breath to be a little deeper. Staying in the peace that you have found in the silence. Bringing that peace, that understanding, that knowledge, wisdom that we receive every time we become still. For silence is the language of God. Stillness is the presence of God. When you're ready, open your eyes. Give yourself permission to do my favorite yoga exercise, which is to stretch the corners of your mouth to your ears. Welcome back. So the title of my talk today is Fear, Friend or Foe? Drink that in just a little bit. Fear can motivate us, and fear can paralyze us. Fear can be a driving force, or it can be a prison. Fear can be your friend, or it can be your foe. Whether you're dealing with many fears or a few or any fears in this moment, fear is a source of information, and it can help us grow. Let me elaborate. But first, I want to tell you a story. I love telling stories because I think I'm good at it. Probably not, but I think I am, so go with me. This is a story which may or may not be true. This is a story of a spiritual seeker. This spiritual seeker was afraid of just about everything. He wanted to overcome his many fears. The fear of the unknown, the fear of failure, the fear of success. And he wanted so much to overcome his fear, he joined a monastery. This monastery was based on the vow of silence. And in this vow of silence, he looked to overcome his fear. So strict was the vow of silence to this particular monastery that the monastery and novitiates were only allowed to say 2 words every 5 years. Huh, it was amazing. So after the first 5 years, our monk gathers up the courage, overcomes his fears, goes in front of the abbot, that's the head monk, kneels in front of him and says his 2 words, bed hard. The abbot says, bless you, my son, go in peace. Well, after 5 more years, our novice monk comes in front of the abbot again to speak his next 2 words. And he gets very reverent about it. He goes in front of the abbot, bows his head in great sign of respect, and says his 2 words. And his 2 words that he utters are, bed hard, food cold. The abbot says, bless you, my son, go in peace. After 15 years, he comes back to the abbot to utter his last 2 words, or his words after 5 years, and he says, I quit. To which the abbot replies, I'm not surprised. All you've done since you've got here is complain. One of my jobs as a minister is actually twofold. One is to comfort the afflicted, and the other is to afflict the comfortable. Today, I ask your permission to speak to you in a way that may comfort you if you're feeling afflicted, but it may also afflict you if you're feeling comfortable. Is that okay?
Sure.
So, thank you. So I suffer with fear sometimes, or at least I battle with fear sometimes, and I don't know where it comes from, and often I don't know where it's going. What I do know is that fear can be a friend or a foe. Does anybody here still have issues with fear? Nobody? Oh, that's good. I'm glad. So, okay. Well, I'm going to tell you that I've had many fears in my life. And I want you to know that I've learned my fears from my culture, my teachers, my family, the influences that I've had into my life, going back as far back as I can remember. Do any of you remember these kind of fears as you were a little kid? Wait until your father gets home. Or maybe you're going to get sent to the principal's office. Or possibly the boogeyman is going to get you. Or maybe, how about this one? He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. She'll be good for goodness sake. You know that one, right? Or the granddaddy of them all. Jesus or God is watching you. That's just creepy. Fear, friend or foe? So how do we accumulate this fear, this guilt, this unworthiness? Well, I can show you in one easy Catholic step. I have a picture for you. Can you bring that up, Jack? Look at this guy, huh? He's a pretty cool dude in the neighborhood. This is actually me when I was just a youngster. It might have been my first Holy Communion, I don't know. But even before this picture was taken, I want to share something with you. You see, my parents did the best they could to raise me. I believe that today from the bottom of my heart. But what happened to me in the process was a little bit creepy as well, a little bit scary, a little guilt-laden. You see, my parents taught me to pray, and they put me at the bottom of the bed, the foot of the bed, so I could stare across the bed onto the wall above the head of the bed to look at a crucifix. Now, for those of you who don't know what a crucifix is, it's no ordinary cross. Oh no, it is a replica, a carving, if you will, of Jesus with nails in each hand and in each foot, a big laceration in his side, a crown of thorns, and blood dripping down his face, and tears coming from his eyes. And the prayer I was taught as a little boy, kneeling at the foot of that bed, was this: Jesus hanging on the cross, tell me, was it I? There are great big teardrops, Lord. Did I make you cry? I have been a naughty boy, as naughty as can be, and now I am so sorry, Lord. Won't you pardon me? Well, the fear in my life just went up about 1,000%. I was guilty. I was filled with terror. I was saddled with the death of probably the most important, influential person in the spiritual world. I knew I was condemned then for all eternity, because that's what I heard, you know. If there are mortal sins, that was the biggest one. You see, I was born in the center of my family. And if you're familiar with middle child syndrome, I invented that stuff. This kind of fear caused me great emotional, mental, and even physical illness. I suffered from what the doctors call psychosomatic disease, which is a nice way of saying we know there's something wrong with you, but we just can't put our finger on it right now. We don't know exactly what that is. So filled with irrational fears and nervous tension, and oh yeah, so I was a little bit neurotic, and in other words, I was and probably still am a little cray-cray. Fear, friend or foe? So as I grew up and got a little bit older, I was still crazy, condemned, and ashamed and unworthy. I didn't know how to even make sense of it all. So I began to study martial arts. This was the first time I was introduced to meditation. I was not yet 20 years old when I found out that there was a peace that I found in meditation. And this peace was the first I've felt since I was in my mother's womb. It just kind of got crazy after that. So in order for me to to come to that place, I had to keep practicing. And as long as I was practicing, I could keep those fears at bay. But what happened, like most late teens and early 20s, I got off the path. I got way off the path, but I forgot to leave my fears behind. I forgot to leave my unworthiness behind. I forgot to leave that I was just a bundle of fear behind. And so I turned to other substances to make my life a little easier to deal with. Matter of fact, they actually saved my life. Because if it weren't for the drugs and alcohol I put into my system, I might have been a statistics in one of those people who jump off bridges, because that's how far off the beaten path I had gotten. Finally, at the age of 35, the universe that I know as God came crashing into my darkness and helped me muster up the possibility that maybe I could be helped. I got on the phone with a place called AA, and they gave me an opportunity to find a God of my own understanding. It wasn't the God of that little boy at the foot of the bed. It wasn't the God of my parents. It wasn't the God of the Catholic school I went to for 12 years. It wasn't any other God, but one that I could actually relate to. And I followed that path to what I would call a mini portion of salvation. About 10 years into sobriety, that wasn't enough anymore. And I thought back to the early days when I first learned to meditate. I thought back to that connection of spirituality that gave me the peace of mind that I needed. And somebody said, you ought to try unity. You'd fit right in. Well, I didn't think there were that many unitics in the world that would, fit right in with me, but I did. And I connected. And all of a sudden, I found a place where I could be who I am. And I wasn't condemned. I didn't feel less than. I didn't feel unworthy. You see, fear is part of the process of overcoming this illusion we call life, or in this life. If you have no fear whatsoever, you don't need courage. What do you need courage for if there are no fears? Those people who don't have fear, dare I say, don't have courage. They have nothing to overcome. Now, I'm not always fearless. I'm not always afraid. I move between fear and fearless. I move into that place where I was able to give myself permission to overcome. That way I am. So let me tell you about fear and how it really affected me in my life. And this is a very real story. James Twyman, just the other day, tells me that he has this Oculus glasses thing that I could put on my head and I could experience something profound. So here we are, right over there in the middle of our common area. And I put on these goggles, right? This whole headset. And he says, don't worry, Michael, I'm going to be right here next to you. I will be the voice of the Holy Spirit throughout the whole thing. Well, I got to tell you what, I love James Twyman, but I trust my wife. So I made sure she was there. So here we go. All of a sudden, I find myself in this elevator going up to this 100 and something floor in this giant building. And the elevator opens up and I'm looking out, and all of a sudden the birds and the helicopters are at the same level as me. I look down and oh, it's high. And he says, if you're willing, step out onto this plank that appears. And I thought to myself, this is an illusion. I should be able to do this. And as soon as I put my head outside the elevator door, that illusion got real for me. That fear kind of spiked for me. And I had to check in with a trusted wife. Megan, is this all right? She said, okay. So I step out onto the plank and I thought I heard it creak. Yeah, And I walked out onto this plank very slowly, very carefully. And the voice of the Holy Spirit, which sounded a lot like James, says, "You're okay. You're doing fine. You're okay." And I get out to the end of the plank and I'm thinking, oh, what now? What now? Am I going to fall off? Am I going to jump off of the end of this plank? What am I supposed to do? And then I heard the Holy Spirit say, okay, you can turn around and get back into the elevator. Whew. I was relieved. And as I turned to go back into the elevator, I thought to myself, I was a little disappointed. I really wanted to walk off the end of that plank. And you know what happened? The next day I got another shot at it. And the next day I walked right out of that elevator, right off the end of that plank, almost fell and hurt myself, but I didn't. But I learned something. You see, fear gives us information. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's an informative thing. Fear gives us an opportunity to take control. Now, here's what I mean by that. Some of you know I'm a professional dog trainer. And controlling your fears is a lot like training your dog. You got to get to know what motivates the dog. You got to get to know the dog. You got to get to understand the dog. And the more you know and you understand your dog, the easier it is to live with them, the easier it is to get them to do what you want them to do when you want them to do it. Same thing is true with fear. Get to know the fear. Get to know what it feels like to be afraid. Understand that it's only an emotion, just like any other feeling. So I found this guy online, and I want to give him all the credit for what I'm going to tell you now about fear. His name is Dr. Carl Albrecht. And he shares with us that there are only 5 basic fears, out of which all other fears are derived. These fears include extinction, mutilation, loss of autonomy, separation, and ego death. That got my attention. Ego death. What's that all about? Well, when we get to let go of fear, this is kind of a welling up. When we think of fear without enough information, it feels like something evil that's welling up within us. But when we understand fear, we can think about them consciously rather than unconsciously. With me? So remember when, well, don't remember, but you've heard that Franklin Roosevelt said that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Okay, well, he probably was right, because fearing what fear is often a bigger fear than the fear itself. So here's some explaining that I know might need to be done here. Fear has gotten a bad rap. It's not only as complicated as we try to make it. A simple, useful definition of fear is this: an anxious feeling caused by our anticipation of some imagined event or experience. Period. Medical experts tell us that anxious feeling we get when we're afraid is a standardized biological reaction. It's pretty much the same set of body signals, whether we're afraid of getting bit by a dog, getting turned down for a date, or getting our taxes audited. Fear is like all other emotions. It's basically information. It offers us knowledge and understanding if we choose to accept it. So let's look at these 5 basic fears that Dr. Albrecht describes. Extinction, the fear of annihilation, of ceasing to exist. This is a more fundamental way to express it than just fear of death. The idea no longer being arouses a primary feeling you get when you look over the edge of a high building. I know that James was in concert with this guy when he wrote that about that walking the plank thing. I mean, it's all right out of the book. Mutilation is number 2, the fear of losing any part of your precious body structure, the thought of having your body's boundary invaded, or of losing integrity of an organ, body part, or natural function. Anxiety about animals such as bugs, spiders, snakes, and other creepy things arrive from fear of mutilation. Number 3 is the loss of autonomy, the fear of being immobilized or paralyzed or restricted or enveloped or overwhelmed or entrapped or even imprisoned, smothered, or otherwise controlled by circumstances beyond your control. In physical form, it is commonly known as claustrophobia. It can also leave and have a devastating effect. So ego death, the fear of humiliation, shame, or any other mechanism, a profound self-disapproval that threatens the loss of integrity or of self, the fear of the shattering or disintegration of one's construction, sense of lovability, capability, and worthiness. And I've feared all of those things in my life. I can say that all 5 of those areas I've met at some point in time in my life. That's why I'm crazy enough to jump off the end of a plank when wearing those silly goggles. So think about the things and how they might affect your life. You know, what is it about fear that we're so afraid of? Are we afraid of being kind of embarrassed? Are we afraid of public speaking? Are we afraid of performing in front of others? Are we afraid of meeting new people? Are we afraid of small spaces or bugs or dogs or spiders? With more information, we can actually understand them and learn how to control them rather than to have them control us. So I think fears are a source of religious bigotry, intolerance of humankind. Fear of ego death on a cosmic level can even extend to existential anxiety. If my God isn't the right God or the best God, then I'll be stuck without a God. Without a God on my side, I'll be at the mercy of impersonal forces of the environment. My ticket could be canceled at any moment without a reason. So some of our fears, of course, are basic survival and value. We, you know, when we're fear of something that might actually cause us harm, it's not wrong to have a fear. But the more information we get about it, the more we can understand it. And then we can be part of our recovery from that fear rather than be dominated by it. Fear can be a friend or a foe. So the next time you feel fear, try this. Say to that fear, like, I don't know, Seinfeld said when he answered the door, "Hello, Newman." He says, "Hello, fear. I see you. I hear you. What information or what transformation do you have for me today? I see you as my teacher. I hear you as wisdom. I feel you as courage and love. What gift do you bring to me today? Fear, friend or foe?" Make friends with your fears, and you will be able to walk through life with less fear and more control as we move through this thing we call life. And as the illusions disappear, we'll all be able to run off the end of that plank. Namaste. Okay.
What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believed, would the wind always fill up my sails? How far would I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge where true believers dare to tread and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? do what we secretly dream. What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? You know there are. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, would the voice of courage whisper in my ear? Maybe this is what I'd hear. I am brave enough to move ahead, where true believers dare to tread, never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step will I take today? I am brave. What will I do 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 today? I am
So what would you do if you were brave? What would you do if you were able to transcend or transfigure your fears? You know, I ask myself that, am I brave enough? And then I think back to that prayer that I said as a little boy on the foot of that bed. And I thought to myself this: who am I to be afraid? I'm saddled with the idea that I just made the Son of God cry. How willing am I to say, fear, if you're interested in coming into my life, be prepared, because I have information today that'll make you worry about what I might do, what I might say, because I no longer have to fear the way I did. All I fear now is how quickly can I move through it. I don't try to block it away or say it isn't there. All I try to do is know that with the divine that's in me, as me, and through me, I can do a great deal of good in this world by showing others how to be brave. I hope you're all brave. Thank you.
Wow. That was beautiful. Thank you, Michael. So, no more fears. Oh, well, there are some fears. We see it, we face it, and we become friends of that and just let them go. Well, Jack, what we have here? My husband is showing me. Okay, we have now an invitation for you. That's what you're telling me, esposo. Okay, we have an invitation for you. You see here at Unity Namaste Pahihik, we have a great vision. And to accomplish that vision, we need your help. Surely with your presence, but we are in the process of seeing what we are going to do in this area with chairs, so it's a huge vision. We want to have musicians here every Sunday with us. So, and many more. For that, we need your support, and I'm going just to pass. We need your financial support to have new chairs here. We had to buy them. To have musicians here every Sunday, we had to pay them, and a lot of more stuff. Now, there's also a box. If you go outside, there's a box there outside going out from Ahihi, from Namaste, and you can fill out envelopes with your names, prayer requests, whatever you want, and then if that's the way. Yes, my dear, love offering. Oh, I say inspired to give, but you don't have cash. Use your credit card. Okay, I love that. Inspired to give, but you don't have cash, use your credit card. Now to do that, you have to email us and we will send you the link. So I want to thank some people did that last week, last Sunday. The email is unitynamasteahihi@gmail.com. Did I say it right? Yes, it's easy. unitynamasteahihi@gmail.com. Okay, so you are invited to write an email and send us your link. Okay, what else? Anything else? Okay, so now we are going to do our prayer for protection to close the service, and then we will sing our peace song, and we will dance also our peace, my own version in salsa of the peace song. So let's do our prayer for protection. I invite you to just please stand if you feel comfortable, you know, and let's send this beautiful, loving, peaceful energy to the whole planet as we say together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amén, amén, amén y punto. Yes. Okay, ready to dance? Resumo, just dance also, everybody. Now, let it begin with me. To the back. Let it begin with me. Aha. Let it begin with me. To the front. Ajá. La clave, la clave. Ajá. Begin with me. Yes. Bye, Zoom audience. Thank you. We love you here. Come soon. All right. Nobody moves. Okay, because we have announcements.
Oh, announcement.
Announcements to do.
Okay.
Did we stop the Zoom? The service? Okay, I have an announcement talking about fear.